So what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Movement6, and before we even start, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who subbed this week. Broken through the 300 subs. It's madness. Thanks for all the support. And if you're new here, drop a like, subscribe, hit those notifications buttons. You know the drill. Welcome to the channel. Now, yesterday's launch event or reveal event, or however you want to call it, from PlayStation has, to me, been a bombshell. From my perspective, they've knocked Xbox Series S right out the ballpark by pricing the digital version of the PlayStation 5 at $399. And to me, it defines everything what's currently going wrong in the strategy of Xbox. And I'm not a fan of either. I've got, as you know, I've got every console out there, and I think it would be very healthy to have a strong competition between Xbox and PlayStation that will only benefit us in terms of content. But the mistakes being made by the Xbox One launch made them lose the current generation. And to me, they are not making only the same mistakes. By focusing on the hardware, they're even making new ones. One of the biggest mistakes they're making, Xbox is so afraid that people are not going to buy their console that they created a new console at launch. So they've got two consoles at launch. That only confuses the market, because if you are promising next-gen experience with a $299 console, which runs 1440p at 60 or 120 frames per second, depending on the game, which is slightly less powerful than an Xbox One X, but you are promising with the Series S a next-gen performance and experience, then why the freak would you buy a Series X? All games should be playable on the Series X and the Series S, so there's no difference in them. So why would you do that? The focus on hardware is only a distraction for the lack of content. Because let's face it, guys, the biggest flagship Xbox has is Halo Infinite, and that has been delayed to 2021. And they already announced that the game will be playable on an Xbox One, base, S, or X for that matter, and on the Series S and on the Series X. Then what is going to be my next gen upscale here if I would buy the Series S? Is it ray tracing over Xbox One X and Xbox One S? Is it the load times? Let's be honest, guys. Who of you out there has such a big issue with load times that they can't play Halo Infinite on an Xbox One X, for example, in 60 frames per second on 4K output? It's more than enough. And yes, you don't have ray tracing, so the resolution is higher than an Xbox Series S, so there is no reason to buy it. And apart from that, what other exclusives will you have at launch? None. So they're also undermining their Xbox Series X, because the only way to sell an Xbox Series X is to deliver content, exclusive content that will only fit that platform. You have none right now. So that's a huge issue, guys. That is a huge issue, because yesterday, PlayStation has knocked Xbox out of the ballpark. Devil May Cry, Demon's Souls, God of War 2, the sequel of the remake of the revitalized God of War we got on the PlayStation 4. Ratchet & Clank, Horizon Zero Dawn. Do I need to continue here? And that's what I'm always advocating. Software is eating the world, a wise man told me once. And that was 5 years ago. And this man is right. If you got the horsepower, if you got the engine, but you don't have wheels to make it run. It will not go anywhere. And don't get me wrong, when the new generation was upcoming but not revealed yet, I was hoping Xbox would do the right thing. And they would deliver a box or a console with next-gen specifications. And one could advocate that the Xbox Series X is slightly more powerful than a PlayStation 5. From a design and architecture and hardware perspective, one could advocate that. But I was so hoping that they would bring exclusives. That they would just bombard the whole world on software that can only run on an Xbox Series X. But instead of that, they reveal an Xbox Series S. So instead of upgrading, they're downgrading. And we all know in 3-4 years time frame into the current generation, eventually there will be a PlayStation 5 Pro. Or maybe an Xbox Series X Pro. You always go up, never down. They're so afraid that people are not going to buy the Series X that they're going to launch a console that in terms of money is slightly more accessible, but you can only run the third party. There is no distinction there, right? And if we look at third party developers, it seems that also Call of Duty's got more. Well, they've got their eyes more on the PlayStation 5 by offering a complete alpha weekend this weekend for Call of Duty Cold War. Black Ops Cold War. So I'm just freaking amazed. If I think about Xbox Series X, I think about the Xbox Series S. I'm thinking about hardware, not thinking about software. And I don't give a rat's ass how a console looks. From my subjective standpoint, I think the PlayStation 5 looks better just from a design perspective. You know, it's a bit more daring, it's a bit more glossy, it's more futuristic. Series X is just a freaking box. So why not develop also a Xbox Series X digital version? Take out the hard drive or the disk drive and then make that 100 cheaper. Then you would have an open playing field and focus on the software. Instead of that, they're undercutting their own. There is no reason to buy the Series X. If you want to have a next-gen performance, and if Xbox is promising a true next-gen performance on a console that's 200 euros cheaper than your flagship, why the freak when you go for the flagship? There's no reason. And if you want to buy a Series S, the forthcoming games on an Xbox are also going to be playable on your Xbox One S and Xbox One X. And they're still fine. There's nothing wrong with my One S. There's nothing wrong with a One X. There's absolutely nothing wrong with these consoles. And this whole play everything everywhere strategy is eventually going to bite you in the ass. And this is where PlayStation shines. They believe in generations because they want to optimize the new software exclusive, the new titles, and the new experiences. So for that new generation, that you can't run it on older hardware. We will support the older hardware, and it will be cross-playable. You could play Call of Duty, Black Ops Cold War on a PlayStation 4 and a PlayStation 5, and you can play against each other. Fine, freaking good. But if you want to play Horizon Zero Dawn 2 or all the other titles, Devil May Cry, if you want to play Demon's Souls, God of War 2, Ratchet & Clank, you need to have the PlayStation 5, mate. And is there any distinction in PlayStation 5? No. The only distinction you can make is that you will have a $100 cheaper environment. $399 for a diskless digital version. So that's just what you want. And I love my physical media. I've got tons of physical media. Still have to play a Blu-ray once in a while. Call me an old geezer, I don't give a shit. So I'm going for the $499. But if you want to go for the $399, we both have the same experience. And we're playing games you can't run on a PlayStation 4. Horizon Zero Dawn 2, smoke will be coming out of your PlayStation 4 if you want to pull that off. And now, Xbox is going to release games, and the only thing the developers need to do is optimize the hell out of it, to make some kind of a middle ground for an Xbox Series S and an X and a One X, Series 1S, and to be playable, of course, on my PC here. That's also the reason why there is no ultimate reason for me to go for a Series X. I'm running a 2080 Ti, AMD Ryzen 7. I'm fine. Of course, the 3000 series is out now, so maybe that's worth the investment, but that's just, I can't look in your wallet. But if you just look at it from an objective standpoint, if you got an Xbox One S or an Xbox One X, you're fine for the foreseeable future if it comes down to Xbox games. If you're going to look at PlayStation, they believe in generations. They want to optimize the new software and exclusives, and they're full in exclusives. Spider-Man, my God. Even the Harry Potter game got me freaking hyped. And I'm not a Harry Potter fan. Looks amazing. I don't want to have the distinction, oh, I know PlayStation 5, and I've got a PlayStation 5 that's just half of it. And on some occasions, my PlayStation 4 Pro is maybe slightly more powerful than it. No. PlayStation 5, here you go. One platform. The only thing you can choose from is digital or disc. It's one platform, one experience. Looking at Xbox, I've got no idea. And yesterday, with just $100 more, you can play the exact same third-party titles. And you've got a whole bunch of exclusives, playable on another generation or another platform. And you've got a whole backlog with PS Plus catalog that will be available at launch on the PlayStation 5. There goes Series S. They're done. They're dusted. This is over. And I truly hope that they will turn the ship around and have some kind of an event that will focus on software guys. Now, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to buy? PlayStation 5? And if you're going to buy the Series S or X, I am really hyped to understand why you're going for either of the two consoles, because maybe I'm missing something here, guys. So I'm really keen on your understanding here. I will be back shortly. I already said that I'm working on a review of Dark Fate. I want to have a good story there. Just doing sneaking a movie review in there. Until the time, guys, subscribe, like, hit that buttons. You know what the drill is, and see you next time.